at all like anyone thought it would go. I don't think, outside of maybe Wisconsin fans, minus an upset. Uh, but yeah, here we are. It was, to say the least, very stressful. This is the most stressful game I think I watched the whole season. The Idaho game and the Boise State game, those were one things. This, I don't want to downplay how good Wisconsin played defensively. Wisconsin came in with a game plan off a bye week and executed perfectly. Oregon tried to immediately take some shots, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. But that Oregon defense, well, they're the stars of this game, to say the least. They came in to play, and they shut Wisconsin down. I don't think you can say it any other way. So we'll get into some of the stats here a little bit briefly. Spaz will probably be joining us here soon, but he's dealing with something. He's a little running behind, so he might jump in. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Not a big deal. The stress of the night is over. At the end of the day, Oregon is 11-0, perfect in the Big Ten, and has clinched their spot in the Big Ten title game. That's all you could ask for. Now getting a bye week after an 8 to 9 week stretch, and also dealing with injuries. That's all you can ask for. Was it pretty? Absolutely not. It was an ugly, ugly game. Absolutely ugly. So I'll be interested to see what people in the chat think about it. What was your take on the game? When did you start maybe panic mode? When did that really set in? Because it set in pretty quickly about halftime. I was like, ooh, Yeah, David, that's not my fault. Blame Spaz. He's like, postpone it 10 minutes, then postpone it 20 minutes. It's not my fault. Blame Spaz. I was ready to go. And he's still not here. So blame Spaz. Thank you very much. Yeah. There was again, I in the sense of this, I have to give Wisconsin a lot of credit for their game plan against the Ducks. They had a very good game plan. You saw them just tackling, even the running. The rushing attacks picked it up heavily in the second half, like especially the fourth quarter when it needed to. But Oregon kind of got away from it. It was like they were testing Wisconsin, and Wisconsin responded very well in the passing game. So, again, I think it's more also credit Wisconsin for the game planning, but their offense is just not very good. They had opportunities, though. Needless to say, they did have opportunities. I mean, this is one of those. If Spaz gets on here in time, and I'm sure everyone in the chat can agree, if you've been actually, paying attention close, this reminds me very closely to 2010 of the Oregon Cal game, where it was you'd been blowing out teams all over the place, and then you get to Cal, and you're like, oh shit. And you literally have to do like a 9.5 minute drive just to run out the clock to walk away with a 2-point win. This is kind of what that game reminded me of. That shows you the resiliency of this team, like that team that made it to the BCS title game. and came within, that close of a knee down to potentially winning it. So, um, I think in a way, this is yeah, exactly. And you can say, and I see what you say, that game was meant way more though. But at the same time, this game also clinched Oregon in the Big Ten title game. Oregon's now going to play for the Big Ten championship in their first year, which is absolutely ridiculous if you think about it in a way. I think a lot of us thought we would, but uh, at the same time, we were also hesitant. And this game was, if everyone goes back and looks at our preseason picks and um, optimism and conclusions, Wisconsin was one of the three most dreaded games that we would play. Obviously, uh, Michigan is not as good as they were. Wisconsin's figuring stuff out, but they again off a bye week came in with a great game plan against us. So I don't want to discredit Wisconsin at all because they were all over the place. There were some mistakes made. Something I seen was that fourth down, the fake punt or the fake field goal at the end there. That didn't. It was a yard short. I don't mind that call. The defense has been playing good. You get that, and you just ice the game. So again, you can look back at the Washington games, blah blah blah. That's fine. That's fine. I understand. But that's Dan Lanning, and we're rolling with him no matter what. But that defense was playing well, so there wasn't a concern about the defense giving up stuff. I don't think compared to like that Washington game. There's a big difference between the two. So I think it was an okay call. Could you have saved that in your bag of tricks for later? Sure. But that's Dan Lanning. You're gonna roll with it or don't. You love it or you hate it. I mean, it is what it is. Didn't work out, but the defense stepped up after that. Again, trust your defense. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the bye week, the bye week gods. Oregon has had one of the longest stretches of gameplay, especially in conference. Finally getting a bye week to continue to rest up because, like tonight too, Jordan Birch didn't play again. Of course, Tez Johnson and Harper didn't play. Those are three of your biggest names, and they didn't play. You got in, you got out of a hostile environment across the country, or a couple time zones. You got out with a win. Pretty or not. Hey, some teams didn't come out so fortunate today. LSU. So I mean, you at the same time you can complain and nitpick certain things, and I understand that completely. But a win is a win. And I was bashing on the ACC all this morning about the Clemson Pitt game, just how awful it was. This game was a lot better in the sense of like offenses were moving the ball and stopped. And but the ACC is atrocious. Shout out Stanford. Also, by the way, shout out our old rival Stanford, taking down 19 ranked Louisville. Were they 19 ranked? Hold on, let me double check this. Hold on, before I say anything stupid here. They beat Louisville. Let me see here. I should have pulled this up earlier. I expect Spaz to help with communication here, so don't blame me for this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? If we want to talk about old Pac-12, yeah, shout out Stanford beating Louisville, number 19 Louisville, yeah, number 19 Louisville. Shout out Stanford, one of the worst teams in the nation, taking down 19th ranked Louisville. What a joke the ACC is. Shout out shout out to little brother Beavers. Going on the road and getting shut out 28-0 to Air Force. Yikes. So again, if you look at some of these results, hey, that could be us. That could be us. We're 11-0 though, and locked into the Big Ten title game. So at the end of the day, you can't complain too much. Austin, I'm sorry. You literally lost to one of the worst teams in the FBS. Sorry. That's just that's pretty much facts. I mean, Stanford has been absolutely awful. I was surprised by the score too. I was watching. I thought Cal was going to beat Syracuse. I didn't see Stanford being. I didn't see Stanford winning. So, it is what it is. Well, again, at this point in time, hindsight's 2020. Did it cost you? No. Had it worked, people would be like, man, amazing call. Again, this is like the same thing from the Washington game. Had you made one or two of those fourth downs, everyone would look at that game differently and the coaching staff. And I think Dan Lanning has learned to call those plays very selectively in certain situations. And they liked what they saw. And I mean, it was damn close. And obviously, it didn't work. But it's also very deep in their territory. Your defense has been doing fantastic, basically the entire game. And they showed back up again with a tip ball pick. So I think at the end of the day, it was an okay call. Again, did it work? No. But you also weren't concerned about the other offense moving the ball that much. So you got to take it for what it is. Actually, I meant to start this show by saying, too, please, if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button. Share this out on social medias, your Twitters, your Facebooks, etc., etc. Help spread the love of the show to everyone and let them know the Ducks are still going to be number one in the country, as we are one of the few remaining undefeated teams. So I don't know what we'll do tomorrow. Obviously, everyone's going to be watching the rankings. The AP doesn't matter. Obviously, it's Tuesday with the playoffs. Those are the ones that matter. But hey, a win is a win, ugly or not. And this was definitely ugly. But I think at the end of the day, these are the type of wins that build the real title contenders. If you look back at Oregon history, some of the best teams Oregon's had. What's been the one thing we don't deal with? A lot of it is close games. It could be shootouts, but defensively, you don't have to deal with it. Now in 2010, we did with Cal. And then you saw that show back up with Auburn. Most of the other games, though, they were just shootouts. 2014, one of the better teams. 2012, we lost the defensive battle. Or 2012. Sorry, or it was redshirt freshman year. This year, we've had now several down to the wire battles where you leave it to your defense to help seal the game, and they do. And I think that's kind of the difference we're seeing this year with his teams. The offense could literally just sputter like they did tonight for multiple reasons. But the defense said, hey, nah, we're not allowing that. And Oregon was trailing at halftime. If I'm not mistaken, it was 10-6. Let me double check this. Yeah, it was 10-6 at halftime. That's why I started getting a little nervous. Kind of going, yeah. But hey, at the end of the day, Oregon literally scored, allowed 3 points in the second half. That was it. And Oregon could have scored more in the second half. But multiple, again, issues. Penalties again. I don't have the exact count in front of me. Let me see if I can find this here. For penalties. Let me see. Penalties. Oregon had they were pretty even. Oregon had 7 for 55, Wisconsin 8 for 56. So the penalties actually just kind of offset each other in this game. It wasn't that bad. No, I see hate in the chat already. Yeah. Can we talk about really briefly too? I've been roasting them online earlier. Can USC get any luckier than just we're just gonna throw this ball up and hope the defense doesn't get it and they get a catch? That game was at least it was better than watching the ACC earlier with Clemson Pitt. At least it was better, but still, I swear, if USC gets one more lucky catch or bounce catch type of thing, bobble catch type of thing, I'm just gonna lose it because I'm like, no, that's not supposed to happen. No, no, we've gotten some bad calls. Not maybe in critical moments. We've gotten some bad calls though. There has been some bad calls. USC is just trying to make excuses to, why they're still not bowl eligible. Hashtag Pax. Not spreading the USC hate on here tonight, but yeah, the USC is lucky, but they're still fighting for bowl eligibility. So USC is just jelly, jealous of Oregon. I said jelly. Yes, I said jelly. Clip it. I don't care. Yeah, not a pretty game. So in the chat again, what was your score prediction? Obviously, Spaz and I have ours. We were both way off on the score prediction. Spaz more so than me, so without him being here, I eliminate him. He loses. That's just due to facts. So I win. I'll take it. But so if we look into the numbers here, I mean, let's look at this again. Oregon 16-13 final over Wisconsin on the road. This is what tells you all you need to know for Wisconsin. Again, this was not a good day for Oregon offensively. Oregon, 5 of 15 for third downs. That sounds terrible, right? A third, 1/3 in third down conversions. Wisconsin, 1 of 12. 1 of 12. That's awful. I mean, that's not just like bad. That is awful. Not even great yardage performance from Oregon. 354 to 226. Not like Oregon was blowing them out of the water, in yardage. But Wisconsin cannot pass the ball to save their life. That's why I was so amazed that it was this close because I did expect that maybe in the second half, especially Oregon would pull away. Wisconsin passing yardage. Someone in the chat guess what the passing yardage was? Just a guess. Come on. In like 3 seconds. What was the passing yardage for Wisconsin in this game? No? No guesses? All right, cool. If you guessed, well, you're pretty close, Tony. If you guessed 96 yards passing, you would be right. 96 yards passing. Wisconsin used their passing game very selectively until they got desperate and had to pass. So, again, defensively, that's really good. Rushing, not great tonight for Oregon and definitely not for Wisconsin. And it was very equally matched. Oregon, 136-yard rushing. Wisconsin, 130. That's just 50-50 there. There were moments where Oregon did really good, and then there was moments where Oregon would suck. There was moments where Wisconsin was doing good on the run. And there was moments where it's like Oregon was just right in the backfield for like a 2-yard loss. It is kind of what it is. I mean, this game just, I don't even know how to explain this game. Both teams had a turnover. Oregon won the time of possession by like literally like not even 5 minutes. This was 50-50, like all the way across the board, statistically outside of passing, where Oregon should have blown up the score, but they just didn't when it came time to. So I still don't know exactly what to take away from this game, but again, as said, a win is a win is a win. You are undefeated, lock down the Big Ten championship spot, going into a bye week, and then you host your rival in Washington, which we will get into next week. So I'm not going to talk about Washington at this point. But I do want to give, again, credit fully to Luke Fickell and that staff, because they, regardless of what you think about Oregon's execution, Wisconsin came up with a great game plan. And they executed. I would say 90% of the time they executed that game plan pretty damn well. If you keep the number one team in the country on the road to 16 points, that's pretty good. I mean, what? The only thing better you can do is come with 13, go to overtime or something. I mean, that's about it. Or block, that's special teams. So I think you all get what I mean. It's like there's not much else you could have asked for Wisconsin to do other than their offense, which has been suspect at times. And tonight was no exception. They had some good plays. Obviously, they put up 13 points, but they had a bunch of just screwball type jobs and plays where they just didn't seem to know what they were doing. That's just kind of what felt like watching it. I need to go back and rewatch and really analyze a lot of the footage and the plays. But again, end of the day, 11-0 on the season, perfect in the Big Ten. The Big Ten. Hold on, I'm dusting my shoulders off for the team. Oh, Big Ten making the Pac-12 look difficult. Someone else did say something too, and I kind of want to touch upon it real quickly. Spaz is not here, so we're not going to take this too long. But someone said it here. There it is. Tony said it. Yeah, Wisconsin trying to be the Stanford 2010s. Yeah, It's hard to dictate now that we're looking at this. Uh, oh, God. Sorry. I took some sleep medicine earlier. Sam was sick, and then I got back from travel, and now I'm like, today I've been like, "Ugh." So I took some medicine. So I don't know if that's that or not. But, anyways, so yeah, um, it's interesting with the new layout of college football. Um, we're going to, I think that's going to be a topic tomorrow night on the After Dark show. But with realignment, it's been interesting to kind of, as a newcomer, sort out some of these teams. And after Oregon's bad performance, realistically bad performance against Maryland, I thought, is Maryland the new Stanford for Oregon? It might be Wisconsin if we want to go that route. Like, we really, really, really want to go that route. I think it's Wisconsin might be the new, like, Stanford for Oregon. Now, that's not disrespectful. I'm not trying to disrespect Stanford and or Wisconsin, actually, but kind of like, I don't know. They just seem to have it figured out a little bit. Whereas Virginia, obviously Stanford, Stanford is not good. But yeah, so I could see Wisconsin being named the Stanford of the Pac-12, so to say, for Oregon. But I could also see the 9-0. I guess it is what it is. So it doesn't look like Spaz is going to join us tonight. Is there anyone in the comment section that has a specific take on this point spread, disappointment, excitement? This is what we're here for. We don't necessarily do call-in shows, but offer you to be able to come on, whether texting and or voice, and just, you know, put your mind out there. Specify what you're thinking. Oh. First caller, we have Tim, it looks like. I don't know what the hell I just did. Anyways, Spaz not here. I just kind of blacked out there for a second. My apologies. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this bitch. We will be back next week on the midweek show. Please hit that subscribe and like button, and we will be back. And we may have a special guest next week, someone that we've been looking forward to getting on the show for a long time, a long, long time. And I think it makes sense when we're going into the bye week. I think it's very, very important. So you don't want to miss it. So hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notifications. We'll be back next Wednesday night, as noted in the screen below. If we aren't, again, notifications, subscriptions, make sure you don't miss a moment, as we will adjust as necessary for our guest if we can get them on. So, from Spaz and myself, I want to thank everyone for being here, despite it being a late night and a very stressful night. But again, Oregon 16 over Wisconsin 13 on the road, going to bye week, clinches in the Big Ten title game appearance spot. Good time to be a Duck. That's all you can say. So, once again, everyone, appreciate you being here. And if you haven't, again, chill out. Nothing to stress about. It's a bad game on the road. You still get a win. Relax. See you next week.